Okie doke. So this time, let's add ourselves a series of. I'm using hats. You don't have to. We're gonna have the option to switch between like different hats. So I've got a variety of hats here, and we're just gonna have sort of a main menu in which we can choose between toppers because I really liked the cowboy hat. So I was like, let's go further down that option. So to make these, you just need to just model up yourself some simple hats. You can tell these are quite low poly in style. Doesn't need to be anything too complicated is what I'm getting at. And then we are going to create a few things. So I'm going to do this in my blueprints folder. So in fact, no, we'll go in order. So let's first of all create a user interface. This video is going to be a little bit more complicated than some of the other ones, but hopefully it should be fairly straightforward. So I'm going to create a user interface, and that's going to be a widget blueprint. And let's give it a name just like cosmetic, or even menu or something. Cosmetics _ W. And I'm just going to add a quick canvas panel to this. So this represents our window, and I'm going to add an image for the sake of not having a nice image. To make it nice and big, cover the entire screen. This will be like, just a backdrop, which can be black. Sure, why not? And I'm just going to make sure it covers the entire screen. And why not add some text up at the top? It says, select a hat. And let's make it bigger. Cool, and I'm just rushing through this, but you can beautify this, make it look nice, get a nice background image, get a nice font and stuff like that. So select the hat. Cool. Next, we're gonna need some buttons, and we can get a button up in the top left. And this button, again, it'd be nice if you had like an image here they could put on here. We could choose like an image, just like we did with the previous buttons. But for the sake of just flying through this video, I'm not going to. This one can just be beanie. Button 2 can be headphones. And button 3 can be cowboy hat, or things like that. What were my other hats? We'll change. It doesn't matter too much. I can't remember what my other hats were. Oh, Viking hat. Cool. So once you've got a few buttons set up, again, it's annoying that these aren't the same size, but I'm rushing through this. I'm not going to beautify them. You can make sure they're all the right size and look really good. So with the first button selected, scroll down, and we're going to want to go to on pressed. So basically, what we're going to do is on pressed, we are going to set a value to say switch the hat to the beanie hat. Now we need a way to pass that information back and forth, and for that we're going to use something called a game instance. So if you go to your blueprints folder and right click and create a blueprints class, we're going to look for all class. I'm going to get a game instance. A game instance. Now what a game instance essentially does is it allows us to save. It's sort of like a temporary save. It's a save that will only exist in this playthrough. So I'm just going to call this JetPack Joyride instance. Now we need to assign this instance, so we make sure it runs with our game. So we're just going to go to Edit, Project Settings, and inside Maps and Modes, at the bottom you're going to see Game Instance. Let's change this to our new game instance. Cool, and that's done. So again, don't worry if this doesn't make complete sense to you, but just try and follow along. Inside the game instance, by double clicking it, it looks just like your regular blueprint graph, but we're going to create a variable in here, and we're going to call it hat ID, and make sure we change it to an integer. So this is where we're going to store the hat value. So now we can go back to our cosmetic widget and we can say cast to game instance. Now we're going to need to get game instance as well. And then we're going to set hat ID to 1. Now we're going to need to do the same for the other buttons as well. So headphones, go down, press the second button. I'm just going to duplicate these, Control D to duplicate. In Unreal 4 it used to be Control W, now that closes the window, and I accidentally close the window all the time now. And then let's do our other buttons, go back to designer, get that third button on pressed. And now I've just done 3 buttons for the sake of demonstration, but you can literally do as many as you want. 3. Cool. So now we've got these set up. After, we're also going to want to open our main level, because we're going to put this on a separate level. So let's say open level by object reference. And at the moment we've only got the one level, third map. So we'll just do that. So after we've set the ID, it's going to open the level. Cool. All right, we're getting there. And I know this is we're sending a lot of data everywhere. Now, what we can do is we are going to want to open our character, which is in the third person blueprints, third person character. Cool. And then on begin play, where's our begin play? Have we got a begin play? No, we don't. Cool. So let's find some space and get a begin play. We are going to cast to that game instance. And we don't forget we need to get game instance. And once we've done that, we are going to want to get hat ID. Now, depending on what this hat ID is, we're going to want a switch on int. And we're going to add a few pins. So I'm going to add 4 pins because I've got 4 hats in my game. Hat 0 is just my standard cowboy hat. Hat 1, so if it's set to hat 1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get reference to my cowboy hat here, and I'm going to say set mesh, set static mesh. I'm going to choose this to be my beanie. And then again, I'm just going to duplicate you and duplicate you again. So now we've got a few options. And all these are going to be referenced to the cowboy hat. Well, this one was Viking, and I think the second one was headphones. Now, what might happen is we might need to do a bit of scaling and tweaking. So let's give this a test. What I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to break this selection real quick and set this to 1. So that way we're telling the game to load up the beanie, and I can test it now. So if I press play, we got the beanie on, bloody massive. And if I set it to 2 and press play, we've got the headphones on, but at the wrong sort of like rotation and scale. So what we're probably going to need to do is mess with these a little bit. Now, easiest sort of way to do this, you know what, just for good practice, if it's 0, let's set this back to cowboy hat. So for good practice, what we're going to do is we're going to need to set transform, or would it be set position or rotation location? Might need to do both. I think it's just let's try set world transform. No, it's not that one. Set transform. Set world transform. And split that. And for the sake of test, let's just make sure this works by setting our value back to 1. And the scale was way too big, wasn't it? So let's go like 0.25. So now it should be a quarter of the size, and that way we'll know this has worked. Okay. Maybe we went too small. Let's go 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Where's that hat? Why am I not seeing that hat? Oh, let's click on the character. Press F8. Click on the character. Oh, the hat's up there. Amazing. What is it doing over there? Yeah. This is going to be a pain. Maybe it's not world transform. Maybe it's relative transform. Set relative transform. Sometimes you just got to learn by doing, you know? So again, 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. Let's press play. Okay, that's a bit better. I mean, it looks like sort of an astronaut helmet, which is kind of cool and gives me a good idea. So, that's cool. We're getting closer. Now, an easy way to sort of figure out the numbers that you're going to want to do for this. So, if I click on my cowboy hat here, you can see over on the right hand side, these are the values that work for the cowboy hat. But if I switch this to the beanie, then you can see it's bloody massive. So, at this point, I'm going to want to sort of figure out 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So, good. And you know what? That's not too bad, actually. Let's maybe go 0.4. Maybe 0.3. Cool, that'll do. And actually the rest of that's sort of fine. So 13, 2, 1, 0, 270, 0. So 13, 2, 1. I'm just pressing tab to flick between them. 270 and actually 0.3. 0.3, 0.3. This was initially set to 2, wasn't it, for the cowboy hat? So I'm just going to duplicate that. Set you guys to 2. Cool. Okay. Almost done. So again, probably want to do the same for the other ones. So go back to your viewport, click on your giant beanie. I'm going to change this to headphones now. Again, maybe 0.3. Oh, it's too small for that one. 0.4 looks alright. But what about my rotation? Not that one. Not that one. Wait, not that one. What? Which rotation is it? They're all just rotating around the same spot. Okay, let's do... Stop running. So let's just switch you to about there. So it is, oh, it's 90 and minus 90 on there. Interesting. So I'm just going to duplicate you guys. I think it's about like 0.5. But you see the process, don't you? So let's set you back to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. And then, what was it, 90 and minus 90. Okay, cool. And now if we set this, for the sake of test, to 2. And then press play. We've got an error. What did I forget to wire up? Oh, I forgot to put my reference in. My rotation's wrong and the headphones are on the front of the head. Why? Viewport. Oh, it's because I didn't set you guys back to zeros, did I? 270, 0. And that should hopefully fix it now. Oh, and you should be set to 2. Set you back to my cowboy hat. We're nearly done. I know this has been a complicated one. Okay, Sorry, I know it's been a complicated one, but we're nearly done now. So all we need to do real quick is let's just do a quick file save all and create a new level, which is just going to be an empty level, because this is our main menu. On this level, we are going to create a blueprint, open our level blueprint, sorry, and on begin play, we're going to create widget. That is going to be our cosmetic widget, which we're going to add to viewport. And then let's give it a go. Let's play. And if we select Beanie, he's got bloody headphones on. Why has he got bloody headphones on? Let's try that again. If we select headphones, he's got bloody headphones on. Select Viking. Ah! He's got headphones on every time. Let's find out why. First of all, let's save this level. Save all. Menu. Okay, so on our cosmetic, we... Oh wait, I think I probably know why. Because we forgot to wire this ID back up. Okay, so let's try it again. Select Beanie. We've got a beanie on. If we select headphones, we've got headphones on. If we select a Viking hat, we've got a massive Viking hat, but I didn't set the values. So yeah, there you go. I'm going to add my option to have my thingy back in my cowboy hat, but for 0. But there you go. That's it. That's the gist. I know that was a complicated one. I know that was a bit of a pain, but we got there in the end. And maybe that's all that really matters. So, congratulations if you managed to make it through this one. So I know that was a bit of a trial.